Hey, Service Nation, Mike Campion here. We are going to talk about the dreaded operations manual. If you were like me and you've been in business a little while, you kind of grew up reading or hearing about, McDonald's and their $1 million operation manual. If I just had this manual, everything would be great. My life would be great. The problem is, maybe you've tried doing it a bunch of times. Hold on, there it is. But it never works, or it's too much work. It's a lot, right? You're like, how do I make it? And just, we've got this picture and this vision of, if I just had everything systematized and amazing and it was all written down, like my life would be great. And the reality of the situation is that's not the case. So the problem is we kind of have this perception of a perfect operations manual. If we just had this, it'd be done. But because we think it's perfect, we don't do anything, right? So we kind of are like, we use the excuse in our mind of like, oh, I'm going to get this, all my systems and processes done and that'll just fix everything. And then the problem is, we don't, right? Because the project's too big, so we can't do it, and we end up doing nothing. And the problem is, doing nothing stops you from building any systems and processes you need. And if you don't build systems and processes, the systems and processes are basically you doing everything yourself, or your employees calling you when anything goes wrong or there's any thinking to be done, which can be fun for the first 12 and a half seconds, but then tends to get not fun pretty quick. All right, so let's dive into how we do this. So the big thing that we have to start with is this belief. And I think I got it when I read E-Myth, Michael Gerber's E-Myth, which is a great book, by the way. So if you ever haven't read it, it's a great book. But I think that kind of instilled this belief: if I just had this big fancy operations manual, everything would be fine. And then the opposite belief, which wasn't super helpful: if I don't have this big fancy operations manual, I can't grow. I'm stuck. I'll never amount to anything. My dad was right. Just kidding. My dad never said anything bad about me. The reality is you actually need a strong core values-based culture. And we're going to talk about that. So if you are taking notes or you're a visual person, write down big fancy operations manual. And if you're like my wife, you could draw a little picture of it looking big and scary, and then cross that bad boy out and then put strong core values-based culture. In all core, and I love core values because that's what we use, but I feel like it's one of those words that people hear. I'm like, like mindset coaching, right? It's so important, but I don't know about you guys. When I hear mindset coaching, sometimes I think, same with core values, right? It's like, oh, that's some big corporate word that means it. Really, all core values are is a set of rules we're going to follow, right? So all we really need is a set of rules that we're going to follow, and then trying to think of a good example. So the operations manual is if then, right? If this happens, then do this. And there's a couple problems with that. First of all, I've been in business 20 plus years. I'm old. I've been coaching business for over 5 years now. And I still come up with stuff, having coached thousands of owners of service companies and cleaning companies. I've still come up with new things so there's always going to be something new, right? Like, what's your if then when COVID hits, January 2020? Well, we don't have it because there's never been a pandemic like that that's affected us the way it has. So problem one with the big fancy operations manual is there's always something new coming up. Problem two, people can't memorize 300, say you could in 3, 4, 5, 6, 1,000 pages, have every single circumstance written down. People aren't going to memorize it. They can't be like, hold on, let me get my operations. They can't. It's too much information. They can't do it. And then the third thing, which is the most insidious of them all, is even if, so we're just going to pretend, yes, we could write down every circumstance that could possibly happen, and people are going to memorize it so they know what to do every time, all the time. The problem is people don't do what they say they're going to do, right? I was reading the Bible the other day, and Paul's talking about, I don't do the things that I want to. And he's like, Paul's like the big disciple, right? Like other than Jesus, like probably one of the most godly guys that ever lived. He's like, I don't do the things I want to do, and I do the things I don't want to do. Like, so if Paul can't figure it out, your employees aren't going to figure it out. So even if we knew every little last thing we're supposed to do, people are sinful or evil or selfish. They're always going to do the things that they feel suit them. And if that happens to suit you and your company, then God bless. But if not, you can write it down every operation manual you want. It's not going to do any good. So the reality of the situation is you hire people that already believe the things that you believe. They already believe the rules that you set, right? So our rules are have fun, make money, be real, and help out. So if I hire people for the team that think having fun at work is stupid, I can write it in an owner's manual. I can have them sign it and notarize it and give a pint of blood and pinky swear and pretty promise and do whatever I want. But at the end of the day, they're going to think it's stupid and we're not going to be a fit. However, if I find people that are already into having fun and they already think that businesses should make money for themselves, for their customers, so everybody involved, when we want to raise prices or do something, they're going to be like, oh, that makes sense, right? It makes total sense. So when we are clear on what the rules that we want people to follow, that's step one. Most of us don't know what our rules are, which sucks, because what ends up happening, we're not clear on our rules, is employees will do something wrong and say it's a big deal. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be, I'm going to get fired in a second. And we're totally fine with it. And other times people will do something that they think is no big deal and you freak the heck out. And they're like, what did I do? I'm confused. The difference is when employees do in scenario one, they did something they thought was a big deal. Maybe it cost a lot of money or a customer quit or something, whatever. And you didn't think it was a big deal because they didn't violate a core value, right? Like, I think Lindsay might be listening. One of my favorite people and one of the gals on our team, we had a vendor who I think she had in part made a decision and it didn't go great. And we had a conversation, I think, and I was frustrated with the situation, but she hadn't violated one of my core values. She was still doing her best to have fun, make money, be real, and help out. It was just an honest mistake. And hopefully she knows me well enough to know I wasn't, super angry or going to fire or anything. But it was no big deal because she hadn't violated a core value. Had she violated a core value, maybe had less impact, I still would have been more angry. So that's the flip side, is when someone does something seemingly insignificant, but you freak out, right? Call it being late, right? And that's a big deal with you. Really, it's not that you might think I have a thing with being late. You probably have something with, I want people to keep their word, and they didn't keep their word. And now it's a big deal, even though to them being late's not that big of a deal. To you, they broke their word. So the problem is we have these rules, we just don't share them. So when someone violates a rule and we freak out, I just got a heart in the thing. Maybe that could be Lindsay. If it is, love you, sister. You're the best. Instead of having rules that we're not clear on, we want to make sure that we have, why don't we just tell them, right? Make an open book test. So as opposed to having them guess, like, you do a bunch of stuff, make a bunch of decisions. And when you violate, when you violate a core value, or I'll just lose my crap on you, right? Why don't we just tell them what the rules are so they can play by them? And then that's level one. Level two is, why don't we just hire people that are already into those rules, right? So as much as we love Lindsay, if she wasn't on her own person into having fun and making money for herself and for the company and for our customers, and if she wasn't just naturally like a person who wants to be real and transparent, wants people to be real and transparent with her, and she didn't love helping people out, I could beg, I could pay more, I could threaten her, I could yell at her, I could do whatever I want. And at some point, it's just not going to work. But because she already wants those things, when I come and say, hey, do that here on purpose in exchange for money, it's easy for her to go, oh yeah. So when she does violate a core value, she violated her own core value. So it's just easy for me to kind of coach her back into like, hey, that's not who you are. Let's get you the Lindsay that we all know and love and that you know and love. And she's like, yeah, that isn't who I am, right? But if she's not into telling the truth and we're into that, we're just going to always have conflict. So the big first thing we want to get is moving from a big fancy operations manual with all the rules, and all the potential outcomes, which is never going to come, which is never going to happen because there's always going to be something new. With them trying to memorize a bunch of if-then scenarios, which they never can, and then assuming they're going to do what they say they're going to do because nobody does, moving from all of that and just finding people that agree on the same basic rules that we have without trying to get too biblical again. When asked what the two, there's the 10 commandments, right? Don't, honor God, no adultery, don't murder, all that stuff that we're all kind of familiar with. That was Old Testament. The New Testament, somebody asked Jesus, what's the number one law? Give me the one. And he said, there's really love God with all your heart and then love people. That's it. If you do those two things, you'll cover all the 10 commandments and you'll cover all of everything. So if we share those core values, right, of loving God and loving people, he doesn't have to tell me, don't commit adultery, don't steal, don't not love God. All the other 10 commandments, like, yeah, I got it. They're wrapped up. So your core values are kind of those 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 main rules where if they follow those rules, everything else is going to go right? I don't have to tell Lindsay, don't lie and cheat and screw our customers, because she wants to be real, and lying is not being real, and screwing our customers isn't going to make them money. It's not going to make us money long-term. So I don't have to tell her each individual circumstance when anything comes up. And I don't know why you're getting picked on, Lindsay, but here you are. When each individual circumstance comes up, she doesn't have to memorize 300 pages of a document. She can go, what's the best way to have fun, to make money, to be real, and help out? And whatever decision she makes, I'm probably on board with that decision. She's not going to do anything I'm going to freak out about. And it's easy for her to make those decisions because she is a human, wants to have fun and make money and be real and help out. So I don't have to make her bend to my will. It's her will. I'm just trying to get her to be who she already is on purpose for our team. So that's that. All right. Because another belief is we kind of think, and we kind of talked about this nonsense of, well, if I just build this big, monstrous, perfect book that's got everything in there, everyone's going to do what they're supposed to do. We know, if you haven't done this, I'll just tell you how that's going to turn out. You're going to end up with a big book that everybody, and they're like, no, you don't understand. Like, I have them sign when they come in, they sign that they've got to, yeah, I know you get people signing anything they want, but it doesn't make people do what you want. Lindsay says it's my week to get picked on. It's so true. I forget what meeting we were busted her chops. That's how you know that you're my favorite, Lindsay. We only pull the pigtails of the girls that we like. Yeah. So the reality is you need easy access. So step one, and by the way, I'm not saying throw out all standard operating procedures, systems and processes. Don't write anything down. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying the foundation we have to build on is core values, right? If you have the best systems and processes in the world, but people don't believe in the main rules that you believe in, you got no chance. Hold on, I'm going to add Lindsay's comment so everyone can see here. So I'm not saying you're going to replace systems and processes with your core values. I'm saying you're going to build your systems and processes house on your foundation of core values. That said, if I could have one of the other great systems and processes or a team that match core values, I'll take the core values every time. So we want both, and one won't work without the other, but if we could only have one, it would be the core values. All right. I'm trying to think. So let's talk a little bit about systems and processes, right? Because that's what we talked about. Do you need a fancy operations manual? The short answer is no. The long answer is we need people that believe in the same rules that we believe in, the same core values. Are going to follow them. And it's like, okay, once we have those people, and that's a whole different thing we talk about on hiring, and there's lots and lots of content. We could go on to that, but we're going to talk about assuming you've got this culture and everyone on your team, and ideally in your universe, customers, vendors, bankers, everyone in your kind of business universe shares to some degree these core values. Hopefully those of you listening are in two camps. One, that when I say we're all about having fun, making money, being real, and helping out, people are like, oh my gosh, I love that. I want to be a part of this community. This is it. Well, I could get coaching anywhere, but I really want to be a part of these people. And the other camp is, that sounds stupid to me. That doesn't resonate with all. That's not for me. Great. There's other places you can get coaching. It would probably be a better fit, right? And it's fine. That's totally fine. So step one is we get crystal clear what those core values are. Step two is we live those core values so loudly and so proudly, the people that share them aren't just attracted. They're like, I don't want to be anywhere else, right? Like, I'd like to think most of the people on our team could probably work somewhere else for the same money or maybe more money, but they're like, I can't get this vibe. Lindsay's like, who would pick on me, right? Who would make fun of me? Nobody, right? So the shared core values, let's assume we've got that. Once we've got that, now it's like, okay, how do we make standard operating procedures? So I think where we run into is everybody's like, back to the big book. We've got to write a document with charts and graphs and spend a lot of time, and we just get overwhelmed and we don't want to start. So what I'm going to coach you to do, what I coach our clients to do, is to break it down into a simple and easy process. And the thing that works best for us is just video. So as opposed to writing crap down, just write a video. And the beautiful thing is, because different people learn different ways, right? So there's audio, there's visual, there's kinesthetic. Audio, video is going to handle because there's audio to the video, right? Some of you are watching this on YouTube or live with me, and there's video and audio, so you get both. So videos cover the audio and the kinesthetic, or audio and video. The kinesthetic, the physical touch, they're gonna get that as they physically do the job. And the cool thing is, with the book, it's kind of a static object, right? Once you spend money to print a book and do whatever, it's like, oh, now I got to update it. And this part might mean this. And it's just a pain in the butt, right? With videos, two things. One, you can break them down in nice little chunks, right? So books are, you can have a table of contents and have, subsection 4, part A, whatever. But with a video, you can kind of have it into, you just upload it to Vimeo or YouTube or anywhere. And I don't think we do it, but I would, kind of having our stuff transparent, right? So you can have some of that customer facing where the customers could see it if you want, kind of let them see what kind of culture that you have. But you can have kind of like admin would be one, like, here's how to get paid. Here's how to clock in and out. Here's how to, when payroll is, here's just bull kind of BS like that. Then you might have sales, right? You might have accounting, and then you might have fulfillment, right? How you do all that stuff. So you can kind of break it into 3 or 4 categories. And then the beautiful thing is you're already doing the training, especially now during the whole COVID nonsense. You might be doing training on Zoom anyway. And guess what? If you're doing training on Zoom, the thing's already being recorded. So you're literally making the training. So all you have to do is every time you train anyone, record it, which is super easy on Zoom or just with your iPhone. It's not that big of a deal. Wait a second. We got some important update. Jessica just said, plus a ring light makes you look like a movie star. Yes, we moved into our place, and I have light coming from everywhere. So I don't know about movie stars. I was kind of going for Angel, but that might be too much of a stretch. Those of you listening to the podcast, you'll have to check us out on YouTube or join us live, and you can see all that. What the heck are we talking about? So yeah, the video. You can you're probably already doing it. B, it's easy to record, and C, you can kind of edit. So it's easy if you're like, we have perfect example. We've got this done for you product where we get leads for our clients, and the onboarding system just got easier. Well, we just took that one little onboarding video we'd made, and we onboarded somebody else, and we videoed that, and we're just going to replace them. Easy peasy, chicken squeezy, no big deal. I'm making up words now. That's how we're doing. So all that to say, step one, hire the right, get clear on your core values. Step two, live those core values so loud that you attract only the people that share them. Step three, as opposed to a big fat operations manual, just kind of video the stuff that you're already doing and just organize those videos on, we use ClickFunnels to do kind of a membership site, both for our paid clients, for our employees, but you can just put them on Vimeo and YouTube and put them in folders and kind of whatever. It's not that big of a deal. The cool thing about videos, you can start right now. You can just have one or two done. It's no big deal, right? And they're easy to update. And you can start for no money, like right today. So that's how you do it. The beautiful thing about this is lots of short videos, easy to consume, right? And the cool thing is when people come to you, as opposed to you having to train and teach on everything, one of two answers. One is, well, hey, person, what's the best way to have fun, make money, be real, and help out in this situation? And if it's a technical question, like how do I perform part of the service that we're performing, you can just shoot them to a video and you don't have to keep doing it. So that is awesome. And it goes from a huge chore of writing this book that you're never going to do to this activity that you and your team can do and have a lot of fun doing. And by the way, have your team do it with you, right? This isn't something you guys sit in an echo chamber and make on your own. My team combined, most of them individually way smarter than me. No question that combined, they're all smarter than me. So we all kind of do this together. It's better. So, Lindsay makes her videos, Jared makes, everyone kind of makes their own stuff, and it's a lot of fun. And the beautiful thing is with videos, people actually watch them, right? Owner's manual, operations manual, you can hand to them, you have them sign it, whatever, they ain't gonna watch it. And it's easier to communicate your core values with video, right? You can have fun, silly, stupid stuff, whereas, on paper, you can't do that stuff. So that's it. Be clear on your core values, live them loud and proud, attract customers, employees, vendors, a whole community of people that share those core values, video the stuff that you do, and put it in kind of an organized form and share that with people and constantly update it. That's it. It's great. And then again, you can even have that kind of be customer facing, and your customer starts saying like, holy crap, these guys have their stuff together. Look at all this training stuff they've got. So if you're digging what we're laying down here, go to growmyservicecompany.com. Tons of free resources. For now, I don't know how long we're going to do this, but if you just want to shoot me a direct message on Instagram and be like, hey, I subscribed to the podcast or reviewed, or I gave you a good review, I referred a friend or something. Just shoot me a message on Instagram. I'll get you a copy of my best-selling book, I'm a Freaky Genius. Why is this business so hard? And that's it, Cleaning Nation or Service Nation. We got a ton of options for you. GrowMyServiceCompany.com. Say hey on Instagram. Talk soon.